Nairobi hoye! Mashujaa hoye! Kwanza mimi nataka tuwapigie makofi wale waimbaji waliotuimbia hapa, walifanya kazi mzuri sana. We celebrate our artists. We celebrate those who have made presentation to us. It was quite a feat, and I could see a lot of science behind the presentation and the performance that they showed. Let me also take this very early opportunity to thank God for making the child of a simple Kenyan to be the president of Kenya. Let me take this opportunity to thank the millions of Kenyans who woke up early, lined up for many hours to vote for me and to vote for all the leaders that are today elected in the Republic of Kenya. My very deep and sincere gratitude to the millions of Kenyans who have elected us into office. Let me state at this very early opportunity that all of us, elected, nominated, and appointed, are today the privileged, because the people of Kenya have bestowed on us the challenge of leading our country into the new horizon. Let me also say that those we have been elected on both sides of the divide, together we must shepherd this country into a safe and prosperous future. I want to state that I will work with all the leaders who have been elected in all formations for the good and for the prosperity of our country. I am tremendously privileged to join you and our visitors today as we commemorate the 59th anniversary of Mashujaa Day. It is with great humility that I preside over this year's celebration for the first time as president, and I am humbled and grateful for the honor to be your leader. We solemnly observe this important day every year in order for us to reflect upon where we have come from as a nation. We mark this day to consider the troubled road we trod through, the sorrowful wilderness of cruel colonial injustice, and the price that we paid in blood, toil, anguish, and death for us to be a free people. We take this opportunity to also celebrate the histories of our heroes and heroines who sacrificed valiantly in our freedom struggle, their character, and most particularly and importantly, the values and principles which inspired, sustained, and vindicated them so that we may emulate them by leading lives worthy of their sacrifice. We also ask ourselves today, what must we do to transmit this noble history and ensure that future generations appreciate us, not only as worthy heirs of our illustrious ancestors, but also as skillful stewards of their heritage. We do this in pursuit of a solemn covenant proclaimed in the preamble of our Constitution, and I quote, that we, the people of Kenya, shall honor those who heroically struggled to bring freedom and justice to our land by adopting, enacting, and giving the Constitution to ourselves and to our future generations, end of quote. Our Constitution articulates a vision of Kenya our heroes and heroines would have approved, a Kenya worth fighting for and worth paying the ultimate price for. It is their legacy to us, and it sets the stage for us to continue their patriotic work in that noble spirit that roused the first freedom fighters to resist colonial rule and their successors to reject post-colonial repression. Our heroes and heroines were neither elected nor appointed. They were not sponsored and they were not funded. They had no offices or budgets. They were ordinary people invested in the struggle to make good their unwavering belief that all people are equal and all deserve to live in freedom. People of all walks of life, subsistence farmers and traders, clerks and former soldiers, teachers and their learners, preachers and their congregations, drivers, cooks, and farm workers ran away to the forest, armed with nothing but the conviction that a more just way of life is possible and that it is worth fighting for. The legacy of independence is the heroic achievement of value-driven, bottom-up heroism. The people were distinguished by their unity and commitment to selfless endeavor, determination, patriotism, and an unyielding sense of justice. Every time we have come together, we have accomplished major feats. That is why, as a nation, we are exhausted by the national anthem, and I quote, "Let one and all arise with hearts both strong and true," end of quote. Our Constitution, the People's Sovereign Charter, is an instrument of collective memory. It proscribes tyranny, marginalization, and oppression, provides institutional means to dismantle injustice and eradicate inequality, and gives us an opportunity to expand freedom and actualize rights. It also defines human well-being to be the reason for individual and collective action, as well as objects of the totality of our national enterprise. We are united in common endeavor with those who came before us and did so much for our country. We may define ourselves as a nation proudly standing on the foundation of the Constitution, united in pursuit of the well-being of every citizen. The principal reason for promulgating our Constitution then was to inscribe the values which animated our history of accomplishments and to project them in a manner that resonates across generations. The national values and principles of governance set out in Article 10 form the soul of this dispensation. They define the parameters of patriotism, exemplary service, selfless sacrifice, and profiles us in terms of who we are and who we ought to be individually and as a nation. We can and we must employ these values as beacons for identifying people whose contribution honor the memory of our heroes and heroines and bring greatness to our nation. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to direct our focus on the work that each one of us does to understand how we contribute to our individual well-being as well as that of our communities and our nation. It is this understanding we must take into account that individuals make up the greater national family, and that Kenya's stature and splendor is always greater than the sum total of our individual efforts or community endeavors. Similarly, our national capacity determines the extent of opportunities all Kenyans have to pursue and attain their aspirations. What I'm saying is that regardless of the type and scale of your pursuit, every contribution matters. And regardless of our walk of life, our work matters, our intentions matter, our thoughts matter, because we all matter and every hustle matters. I congratulate every citizen for their part in ensuring that the last general election was peaceful. I know of attempts at division, disunity, confusion, and even some who did everything in their power to entice and pressure our people to engage in criminal activity. But I also know that despite a competitive campaign period characterized by intense rivalry, Kenyans resolved in unison to remain peaceful, united, and compassionate. We set a new standard for ourselves: issue-based campaigns, transparent elections, and a peaceful outcome. I salute all Kenyans who set out every day, everywhere, doing ordinary things in inspired and extraordinary ways to fend for themselves and their families, thereby keeping our country going. I commend those whose work involves service to others. I celebrate those who volunteer and give, expecting nothing in return. Yet, they serve selflessly. From the farmers who feed our nation to the drivers who connect all parts of our country by conveying people and goods, educators who impart knowledge to our infants in kindergartens, children in schools, and youth in tertiary institutions, medical staff in wards and in fields and training institutions, workers in quarries and construction sites, artisans on the side streets, in their small sheds and in large workshops, traders on the side streets in rural and urban markets, and all the way to the Nairobi Security Exchange. Professionals who give their best in every sector of national endeavor, and our men and women in uniform whose bravery and commitment continues to set the gold standard for sterling devotion to our flag